The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic week and is getting ready to hit up Miami next week. It's going to be really an incredible event. I can't wait. There's so many enhancements and there's so many big progressive things that are not just coming, but that have happened that are going to be unveiled by Mark and JR and Lauren and the team. So I can't give any of that away, of course, but I'm really excited because there's so much that has happened between August and today. So make sure you guys get there. And of course, we're going to have our friends from Deductr at the event as well. And they will be joining us and conducting a special breakout on Thursday night um, at, I believe it's 8 o'clock at night on Thursday at the event. And they have a really exciting announcement about a brand new platform. It's going to be like super cool. Everything that we've done so far, of course, is still going to be saved. You don't lose anything. But they are just gifting us with this really cool enhanced platform that they're going to be demonstrating, and we'll be the first people to get a look at that at the event. So lots of exciting things are coming, and so we'll see everybody there, of course. And if you are in Miami, please make sure that you get to that Deductr breakout and you visit the Deductr booth, and you get to know us and get your team members there as well. So the purpose of our week 4 session is really to decide, okay, so like what now, right? So what should you be doing now that we've been doing this for a couple of weeks? And so I'm going to walk you through a couple of things today with, of course, the help of Charlie, Eddie, and Holly. But we want to talk about how to really kind of do an assessment of what you've done that worked, maybe what you meant to do that you didn't do, what are things that you can do to keep Deductr a habit. How can you explore and expand your interaction with the program? And then most importantly, how can you get people on your team using Deductr the way you've come to realize it? And other resources that you can do to make that easier. So with that being said, we're going to start off with kind of a little bit of a self-assessment here. And I want you to ask yourself, did you do the following things? And it's really going to come down to assessing, did you do your setup? How have you used it? Have you learned about it? Were you consistent, etc.? So things that you want to ask yourself are, did you set up your business profile? So just being completely candid with everybody, when I got started with Deductr, I linked my bank accounts, and I started with confirming my expenses, which was great. It was one step in the right direction. I still have to add all my mileage back in. I'm a little bit behind on that, and but I also hadn't set up my business account yet. And so Holly last week demonstrated how the blue bar can really help you see how your monthly savings could very easily match or even outweigh your monthly overhead. Well, that can't happen unless you set up your business profile. So I went in actually and did that this week. Even though it was 2 weeks late, it's no big deal. It's set up now and it's good to go. Did you connect your account to mobile? Did you confirm your expenses? Did you do shopping annuity spending? Did you add or track mileage? Did you manually add any of your expenses or paper receipts? Have you checked out the Help Center? That Help Center is so clutch, you guys. It really has so much valuable information, and the search function in it is really great too, because I've used it a couple of times actually. We used it live during the demonstration to look up how to find information about adding multiple businesses for some of our unfranchised owners that have more than one business. And then I actually ended up using it this week because there were some categories of expenses that I typically provide to my accountant that I did not see in the preloaded list. So I wanted to see how can I add some customized categories. And so the first thing I did was I went to the Help Center and I wrote custom categories, and then a really easy step-by-step instruction with screenshots popped up, and it showed me how to add my custom categories. So like for example, for me, in addition to being an unfranchised owner, I'm also 1099 as a dance teacher. And so some of the things that I write off for that are things like when I have to pay for music for my classes or any other dance type of expenses, I write those off. And so I added those custom categories. It was super easy to do. And I was able to do it right away because the help center is so great. It's so easy to use. And again, the search makes it easy to find the information that you need. Exploring other areas of Deductr. And for example, like the fact that it can do more than just the basic things that we've talked about. Like, for example, you can customize things and you can add additional businesses and you can expand your personal write-off section and things like that. Um, and then ask yourself just something that will help you understand how consistent you were and what may or may not have worked for you in terms of consistency. So, did you log into Deductr during planned times? Did you like, so for me, I put in planned times on Saturdays and it's just called Deductr time. And it was like going in, that was my time to go ahead and confirm my expenses. Well, what I found was the first 2 weeks that I had that planned, I couldn't actually do it on Saturday because I was playing catch up from the week and I was trying to spend more time with kids. So the times that I actually set aside to do Deductr did not work well for me. And that's just something that I learned. It's not a big deal. And so what I did in the third week was I said, you know what? The better thing to try right now is maybe just throwing on an episode of Grey's Anatomy at the end of my workday when everybody's kind of chilling and doing it then, like when I'm just kind of relaxed. And that was so much easier for me. So that is just changing my approach. That worked. It was easy to do. I did it this week. And I'm going to do it next week. Well, I'll do it the week after next week if I'm being totally honest because of Miami. I'll just continue to do that on a weeknight when I'm just kind of decompressing and whatever. And I have to tell you guys, it was so much fun. Like, it was so much fun just kind of sitting down there with my favorite show on and I'm just kind of going through this. I felt so much relief because as I was going through and confirming my expenses, I was like, wow, I can't believe this is the first year in my life that I feel like so far ahead of the game as far as this tracking and organization goes. Because usually, like every quarter, I'm just kind of like, just in a mountain of things that I have to kind of go through and organize and everything. And the system was easy to use and it felt so insanely good to get ahead of the curve. So for me, that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually switch my approach from doing an hour on Saturday like I thought might be good and switch it to weeknights, to one weeknight per week to do it.
Hey,
Yes, Charlie.
hey, what the other thing I do is when I go in and approve all those things or place them where I need them, I love to send a little email out to my organization going, hey, did you guys,
Mm.
add your deductor or do your deductor activities this week? I just, it's a great little reminder and they always send back a thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, it's like any little thing like that you can do to push somebody to use the system is going to be so helpful for you and your team. So I'm going to do that next week, Charlie, because that's a really great idea. Um, and yeah, so it's
It's more fun as a group.
yeah, it is more fun as a group. And guys, it's still January, and even in February, it's not hard to catch up on. I like I said, I had totally intended to do this on Saturdays, but the day that I picked for myself just wasn't working, and so I had to try something different. So rather than not do it, I just went in on and I tried something different and it worked. And it wasn't hard. It was only 3 weeks worth of stuff. So getting your team started now, it's helpful. Like the longer they wait, the more likely they are to just put it off, so even longer. So do what you can, whether it's shooting a text to them while you're doing it yourself and leading by example, or starting your own 4-week accountability group. And Holly's also going to talk about additional webinars that happen monthly by Deductr themselves that can be a great launching point. There's lots of ways to get them moving. Other things to ask yourself was for the mileage tracking, did you use the mobile application or did you end up adding them manually? Did either of those work particularly well for you or did you have challenges? Did you learn anything new? So these are all really great questions. I highly recommend you take a quick screenshot because if you can answer these questions for yourself, it'll give you a pretty good idea. It's like a Deductr health checkup, right? On what you've done, what you may not have done, what worked well, and what you might want to try differently.
Hey, Sarah,
Yes.
I I love doing the mobile app for mileage because I have to figure out the distance if I didn't. And at the beginning of the year, of course, occasionally I forget when I get in the car.
Oh, yeah. It's a good habit to start for sure, too, just like turning it on when you take a trip. I mean, either way, you're going to have to go back and do something. So at least if you just
Yep.
use the mobile app, you take out the math part of it all. Um, but let me just show you guys real quick. I have my thing up here and man, it was like really, really cool. Like, so I did my thing yesterday and I put in all of my spending for the last 3 weeks, and then my monthly savings is more than my savings target, even just after 3 weeks. So I found this really powerful. I don't want
Hey,
to go into,
Sarah, that part is actually really important to me, what you have up there right now.
yeah,
When I see what I'm saving by spending a few minutes a week adding that stuff in, I don't have to think about am I right or wrong or am I saving it for my accountant. It does it for me.
right. And it's pretty cool. So hold on, Charlie.
Hey guys, that's
Yep.
sorry to interrupt. This is Holly. That is such a great point. And I think where you are bringing in your team members, one thing that you guys could do is do a contest, do a weekly or a monthly contest. Whose blue bar is higher? Take a snapshot of it, send it out in an email, or
I like
pull
that.
some of the figures from one of the reports and have a little group contest.
That's a great idea, and it
That
gets
might help.
I love
people
that, Holly.
having fun while they do it. So cool. Another little cool thing, just so you guys know, I don't know if everybody's aware of this or not, but Deductr is directly tied into Unfranchised. So those numbers right there are also showing up on my widget here. So you just scroll to the right, you choose tax savings, and you can see your monthly average as well as your monthly savings target right there. So it's pretty cool that we have this built right in, that we can see so much. And the more I found it very addicting to actually sit down and get it done. I like literally can't wait for my next session to sit down and go through it, because it was like oddly satisfying to just confirm all that stuff and have it done. Um, so I just found it very satisfying and very helpful. I felt very good about getting ahead of the game. Okay, so with that being said, that's great. I'm glad everybody's making their habit and getting engaged. Now, the next step of our order of business is to get your group to experience the benefits. So to do that effectively, there's really like three things that you want to do, right? The first thing is you want to be able to explain the benefits of Deductr. And the three main benefits of the Deductr, of course, are the tax benefits, the shopping annuity benefits, and the recruiting and retention. And so I'm going to share some slides that help you to do that. But remember, these sessions are all recorded. So if you feel like you can't effectively communicate the tax, shopping annuity, recruiting, and retention benefits of Deductr, you can always go to youtube.com/shopping annuity, and the playlist of these four videos is right there. So you can go ahead and play Charlie and myself and Eddie and the team walking you through what those benefits are, and use the videos, the replays, as your training for your 4-week accountability group with your people. Then from there, you want to make sure that they understand what it takes to get started. So the first step, of course, is to activate their account. And the way to do that is to go to unfranchise.com, click on that tax widget, and if they're not yet set up, they just click on it and they can set it up right there. From there, the next thing is to link their cards. I'm just gonna, if you could just, if everybody could keep themselves muted unless they're about to speak, because there's a lot of feedback. I just don't want to. Awesome, thank you. And if you do want to speak, just unmute yourself. So from after you've activated your account, you're going to link your cards. And also you can set up your business profile. That can be done when they're getting started, or it can be done later there are some, things that they need to know in order to fill that out, like what they think their overhead will be, their primary vehicle, money that they make, that they're expecting to make, things like that. And then, of course, teaching them how to confirm their expenses and add and track mileage. The most important thing with your team, of course, though, is going to be helping them to create a new habit with Deductr, because it's the habit that's going to make them a consistent user, right? So I think that for every person, it's going to be a little bit different. Like, so for what I thought was going to work for me, didn't, and I ended up having to adjust. And the benefits of Deductr were important enough for me to try a couple of different things. And what worked for me is different than what works for Charlie in terms of consistency. But I just wanted everybody to know that. So the making a new habit is really important, and just keep in mind that your goal with your new people is to find a time that they can be consistent with. So it doesn't have to be whatever it is for you. It's just whatever can work for them and their lifestyle and the time that they have for themselves. All right. So the next few slides, I'm going to put these up on unfranchised downloads. So for people, if you guys want them, or on unfranchisedtraining.com, you'll get them as well. You just want some basic information explaining the benefits. I'm not going to re-go through all of this, because Charlie did an incredible job going through all of this in week 1 and also reiterating it last week. But just as a recap, the benefits of Deductr are not leaving money on the table every year because of the fact that you're just simply disorganized. Just that reason alone, that the average small business owner is leaving $3,000 a year on the table, is worth, creating the new habit. Then, of course, the tax benefits. It's like a personal assistant that helps you to track your expenses, mileage, and it's like great time of a professional, but without all the salary that you'd have to pay them. Also, keeping in mind that a lot of people, this might be their first time owning a business, and they may not know a lot about tax preparation and what they're even entitled to. So that preloaded list of things that are tax deductible can also be very educational. You may learn, like, wow, I didn't realize I could write this off, and it's listed there as something that's preloaded, so it can be very helpful. And then, of course, the shopping annuity benefits, which are showing what you actually save versus what you think what you actually spend versus what you think you spend, and how powerful that can be for recruiting, and also for retention, right? Like, if you look at how much you're spending that you could be converting into earning, who would want to do anything different, right? I mean, you're going to spend that money anyway. You have the numbers right there. The proof is in the pudding. And then again, Charlie went through all of this last week, so it's just kind of reiterating the benefits here. The recruiting benefits are huge because you can show real savings and tax benefits, show real spending that could be converted into earning. And then again, just keep in mind that the shopping annuity spending is not really an expense, because it's stuff you were going to spend to live anyway, and it's just a no-brainer. You should be building a business with Market America, because you have the ability to convert that spending into earning that you're going to do anyway, and you don't have that ability anywhere else.
Hey, Sarah.
Yes.
Now that I'm bringing somebody on board, yep. I also, when I help them set up their websites, I set up Deductr. What an experience that is for them, how they can track right from the get-go.
Yeah, and I mean, that's such a great point. Like, so many people might look at this as an afterthought, and we'll get to that. But like, this is such a powerful tool for them. So having them, get set up right away is such a slam dunk. I'm, again, learning a lot today. I'm definitely writing that down, and I'm going to do that as well. So, and that's kind of what you were just saying. So, the organizational benefits and maximizing everything there, and just seeing where people could be. This is another eye-opening thing. Like, when people go through and they're looking at their bank statements and they're seeing all the spending that they did, and how much of that truly could have been spent on their own website instead of wherever they spent it, it can be incredibly eye-opening. And when somebody sees that real scenario in front of them, and they go, wow, I just gave up the opportunity to earn IBV or BV on all of this spending and I could have converted it into earning. That could be a big light bulb that goes off for somebody in your group, where they learn, like, okay, it's the one thing they needed to see to shift their behavior. And what does that result in? It results in more group business volume and more group IBV as well. So as you're getting them started and you're helping them to get started for them in your team, of course, you want to activate the account by logging into Deductr on unfranchised.com, and you want to go through the same steps that you went through. So confirming your expenses, confirming your SA spending, setting up that business profile, linking to mobile, teaching them how to upload a receipt and how to track their mileage. Tips for consistency. So picking a time that works for you and your lifestyle, whether it's a day, a weekly approach, a bi-weekly approach, with your morning coffee. For me, it was after dinner time with Grey's Anatomy. So, it's whatever works for you. But the key is helping them to determine a time that they can spend 30 focused minutes on this and not be interrupted, and that they would be able to treat that time like a solid appointment, right? So if you can help them to identify the time that works for them, then that's going to be critical for their success. So with all of that being said, I think everybody has done a phenomenal job. And I think the timing of this workshop was really, really great. And Eddie, thank you so much for suggesting this and helping to put it together, because really this came about with Eddie was just thinking, gosh, we're putting out all the 1099s. I think a lot of people probably could have leveraged this more than they had. And he was right, and I was one of them. So I appreciate the idea.
Sure.
Yeah, so some resources I want to draw your attention to between now and what's coming up. We have the Help Center on Deductr. So when you click on Deductr, I'm just going to show everybody how to access it real quick as a reminder. When you're in Deductr at the top right, there's this orange button. If you click on it, it brings you right to Deductr's Help Center. There's frequently asked questions, general information, there's webinar information, tips. This one is really the best one, because if you're trying to get a new person set up, there's this link right here. How do I set up my Deductr account? And it kind of walks the person through everything that they need to know. And these are great resources to use when you don't have live training, right? So that would be one place that I want to draw everybody's attention to. I want to remind everybody again that next week at the World Conference on Thursday evening, we will have a Deductr breakout. And in addition to training on what it is and how to use it, we're also going to be previewing a new upgrade that everybody's going to be getting as early as March 1st. And then, of course, on March 4th, after that goes live, we're going to do another 4-week series just like this one. So I don't recommend that your new team members wait until March 4th to get started, but just keep that in the back of your mind for your newer team members, that this will be available for them to leverage as well. Also on YouTube, on the Shopping Annuity channel, we have the Deductr playlist, a 4-week playlist of these recorded sessions that you can leverage. And I have Holly on the line, and she's going to talk about what Deductr does themselves to support us with their own webinars.
Thank you, Sari. So each and every month, Deductr puts out the date of our upcoming webinar in our newsletter. If you don't subscribe to that, you can actually go onto our website, go to the blog page, and you can subscribe to the newsletter there. And that will give you a first heads up of when the upcoming webinar is that you can share with your team and get your team involved. But we also put the announcement in the Help Center. So in the news and webinars link on the web or in the Help Center, you can click on that and you can actually see when the next webinar is going to be. We haven't posted it for February yet or March, but I'll post it there for you guys. And then following the live webinar, we'll actually post a recording of the webinar. So we just had a webinar this last Friday, and I'll be putting that recording. If you guys want to see that, I'll be putting that hour-long recording into the Help Center today. So it's basically an in-depth view of Deductr, how it works, some tax tips. Even though we can't give tax advice, we give you tax tips on how you can save a little money too. And then you also get the experts on the line. So yes, I'm classifying myself as an expert, but You have me on the call where I actually, behind the scenes, am going to be answering all of your questions. So if you have questions about your personal account, if you just have whatever questions you have, you'll have me on the line, and then Doug will be presenting those webinars. So you can join us at each and every month. You can invite your team, send out an announcement to your team, and get those new team members involved if they haven't set up their accounts or if they're just getting started. Let us do the training for them. We'd be happy to do that. So each and every month we'll be doing those webinars.
That's really great. And Holly, thank you so much. I mean, I think it's very notable that your company does so much to support the ongoing usage of this product by our unfranchised owners. You know, it's not like you just kind of provide it and just disappear. You're there providing tons of support. And also, guys, you know, they answer their emails like really fast too with personal questions and things like that. So we really appreciate the help and support that you guys put in to us, and we'll definitely be promoting it and getting people involved there. So Eddie or Charlie, do you guys have any additional comments before we wrap the session?
I do not. Great job, everyone.
Thank you.
Sarah, I do have a couple. I just want to make sure that we all focus on putting that extra money you're giving to the government back in your pocket. Not that you're giving it away, but there's things that you can deduct that make a big difference. And retention of your team is huge when things are paid for by savings going to the things we should go to anyway. And Sarah, you did an awesome job.
Yeah, as did you. And so thank you guys so much. It's been a great team effort, and we'll see everybody in Miami next week at the breakout, at the arena, at the concourse. Make sure you say hi, check out the booth, and just keep using it, guys. I'm telling you, when you make it, like when you really get it and you really start using it, it's totally addicting, and it's getting the benefits and it's all going to pay off. So I love what Charlie said. I think it was in week 1, and it really stuck with me. And he just said, you know, whether you use Deductr all the time or you don't, it's a habit. It's just one is going to cost you more money than the other. So it's definitely worth making it a habit. Stick with it, you guys. And if you need anything or have any questions, as always, you can feel free to reach out to us. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.